Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. My name is Sagar, and in this video we'll see how we can create query using completely X++ code. So if you have seen the last two videos where we have created a normal AOT query and then we consume that AOT query using X++ code. But now in this video we are exactly going to clone the same query, the same AOT query using completely X++ code. Okay, so I will add a enable class for that. I can go to class. Here I will go to enable class. I can say my enable class is query framework. I'm giving some bad names. Excuse me for that. And I will say add here. Alright, the first thing I will do is I will remove this unnecessary lines. Alright, so we need to create a query. So for that, the first thing I will need to do is I will define my query object first. So I can say query. So I will define my query object first. Okay. Then what I will do, I will initialize my query. I can say query equals to new query. Now my query is ready, but there's nothing available inside this query. I'm simply telling that I'm going to create a query. So you will add a data source in your query, right? So for that you are going to use this query build data source, and I will say QBDS in short form. Okay. Now inside this query you will need to bind this data source. So you can say that QBDS, your query build data source, equals to your query dot add data source, and here you need to tell what data source you are adding. So I'm going to add my what we call my purge table. So I will say purge table here. So till now my query is ready. Now my query knows what all data source it needs. So this all is completed, and all the fields will also get available here. So if I want to restrict some fields and all this, so I can use this query build field list. That is a separate thing. Okay, now my query is ready, my data source. Now the next thing is I need to apply a range. So if you see our AOT query, here we have done this particular part. We created a query, we added a data source. Okay, here we specified all the fields. Now in our code when we write this, so all the fields will be available inside this data source. Now we'll need to apply a range here. So for that we need to use this query build range. So you can say QBR, and here now you will use this query build range, and you will say equals to your query build data source dot, you will use the function named as add range, because now you will tell that I'm going to apply some ranges. So then you can specify in which field you are going to apply the range, field num. Now we need to tell your data source, so I will say purge table, and then you need to specify in which field you are going to apply the range. So I'm going to apply my range in purge status field. So I will say purge status. Now I only specified that I'm going to apply range, but what value should be applied on that range, now I'm going to tell that. So I can say my query build range dot value, it should have a value. What value? So here you can provide a string value. So for that I will use this sys query. I will say value. Here I can specify any data type. So I can say my purge status, and here I need all the purchase order where the purchase status is invoice. So I'm going to apply this. I will close this. So basically it will return a string type, but let me explicitly specify here enum to str. I believe even if we'll not use this should work, but I'm not going to take any risk here. Okay, so now everything is ready in my query. Okay, now the next thing is how I can consume this query. So now to consume this query, so basically we've created a query. So if you want to use this query dynamically, so for that we'll use our QueryRun framework. So I will say QueryRun equals to new QueryRun. So this is exactly code that we have written in our last video. So it is just the same code. Okay, so my QueryRun is ready here. Then I can say while my QueryRun, okay, I will apply this while loop here. I can say QueryRun dot next. So I'm going to write it quickly because in last video we have already seen how all this works. Then we need a buffer of perch table, so I will declare my perch table here. Perch table, I can say perch table, and here I can specify my perch table equals to, from my QueryRun I can use this get function and I can pass my table ID here, that is table num perch table, and then I can display my perch ID info strfmt, and here I can say from my query framework my perch ID is perch ID, and here I will display all the perch ID. So I can say perch table dot what do we call that perch ID field, alright. So I will build this, but let's do one more thing here. Okay, we'll do other things in next videos. Okay, so I am going to build this code now. Let me make sure. Okay, even if it's false, things good. So I will build my code and then we'll see the changes, whether it's working or not. Alright guys, so the build is completed, and if I run my this run class query framework, I can see the exact output that I got from this. So we are exactly getting the same output. Even if you see 12, 11, 18, 100, 32, 33, everything is same only if you see this one. So let me reiterate what we did in this video. We specifically see how we can create dynamically queries, and we try to replicate our AOT query. So for that, what I did, I defined this object QueryBuildDataSource, QueryBuildRange. Then first of all, I initialized my query. Then inside my data source, I provided inside my query, I added a data source. My data source was perch table, and then I assigned this inside my this QueryBuildDataSource. Then I applied a range on my data source, and the field that I specified it perch status, and this all went into my QueryBuildRange. And then my QueryBuildRange, I specified here that I need this value. What value? I said, this, I use the sysquery, under scope resolution sign value. Here I provided the value that my purchase status should be invoice. I only want those records to be available inside this query, and I explicitly even specified enum to str global function here. Then I defined my QueryRun object and I inserted my query here. Then I use this while loop to iterate through my QueryRun, and then I specified my buffer using QueryRun.get. Here I defined my table name and my buffer was available here. Then I said perch table.perch ID, and I basically displayed all the purchase order. So this is how we can create dynamic queries, and in our next video I will show you one other way how you can consume this query without even using this query run. So stay tuned for that video. Thanks for watching this video.